I didn't scream. I didn't throw anything. I didn't even ask her why. I just walked away. And maybe that's what unsettled her the most. That I didn't put up the fight she was expecting. That I didn't demand an explanation. That I left the door open for her to step into a life she'd already chosen without me. I walked out in silence. Filed for divorce the next morning. Relocated to a new city. Started from scratch. And for an entire year, I never turned back. Then one day, without warning, she was there, standing outside my door, eyes full of sorrow, murmuring the words I never thought I'd hear. I made a mistake. But the thing about mistakes, they don't come without fallout. We were far from perfect, but I thought we were steady. 6 years of memories, 3 of those as husband and wife. Not once did I question her loyalty. I never imagined I'd have to. She was driven, always chasing the next goal, and I was her biggest fan. I stood beside her through every win, never once feeling threatened by her ambition. I believed in us. I believed in her. Then came the promotion, a major leap forward, more responsibility, more long hours, more trips out of town. I was proud of her, told myself the late nights and growing distance were part of the process. Temporary, but then the subtle shift began. The way her smile lingered at texts she never shared. The sudden dinners with clients that stretched late into the evening. The tension in her tone if I asked too many questions. I wasn't hunting for reasons to doubt her, but the doubts came anyway. I remember the night everything came into focus. She came home wearing cologne. Expensive. Not mine. When I asked about it, she brushed it off with a laugh. Said it must have been someone at the office. I wanted to believe her, but something in my gut told me not to. Trust is a fragile thing. You don't realize how deeply it runs until it disappears. And the moment suspicion crept in, I knew something had shifted. I've never been the kind of man to snoop. I've always believed if you're searching for proof, then the bond is already broken. But doubt doesn't sit still. It doesn't sleep. It festers. That night, it took over. She left her laptop open, right there on the kitchen counter. Normally, I wouldn't have thought twice. But the way she rushed into the shower, the way she avoided my eyes before walking down the hall, something about it didn't sit right. I told myself I was imagining things, that I was overreacting. But then, I clicked on her messages. I already knew. The moment I saw his name, her boss, at the top of the message thread, it all made sense. At first, the messages seemed harmless. Too harmless. But as I scrolled, the pit in my stomach deepened. There were private jokes, conversations that stretched past midnight, plans that clearly had nothing to do with business. This wasn't a workplace friendship. It had never been just work. She had tried to be careful, wiped the trail where she could, but she hadn't erased it all. And then I saw it, a message from just a few nights earlier. I wish I were with you instead of going home. She sent that while I was waiting at the dinner table, alone, convinced she was just stuck late at the office. I stared at the screen, heart pounding, not from rage, not even shock, just a slow, heavy clarity sinking in. She hadn't just broken our vows. She had already left. Emotionally, she'd moved on while I was still here, still holding on to something long gone. I shut the laptop, got up, walked to the bedroom. I didn't need to question her. I didn't need to hear why. The truth was right there in front of me, clear and final. She had made her choice. Now it was time for me to make mine. I grabbed a bag and filled it with the essentials. Clothes, wallet, keys. No framed photos. No keepsakes. No pieces of a past I didn't recognize anymore. She came out of the shower, towel wrapped around her, humming like it was just another night. Maybe to her, it was. She smiled at me, unaware that in the span of 10 minutes, she had lost me completely. I studied her face, the same face I used to know by heart. Then I walked past her, bag in hand. No words, no scene, just silence. Some people beg for closure, demand explanations. I didn't need either. Everything I needed to know was there, spelled out in digital ink. Leaving felt strange, not like an escape, not a burst of fury, just final. It should have broken me, but instead, it felt like air returning to lungs that had been suffocating. For the first time in months, I could breathe again. I checked into a hotel that night, sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the blank wall, letting it all sink in. The reality didn't hit me until I shut off my phone. No calls, no texts, no explanations, just quiet and peace. By morning, the decision was made. I filed the paperwork. No dramatic fallout, no tears, no last-minute apologies. Just a legal ending of something that had already died. I left a copy at the house with a short note. You chose your path. Here's mine. In the days that followed, I waited to feel something. Regret, maybe, doubt, even loneliness. But all I felt was relief. No more wondering. No more second-guessing myself at 2 a.m. No more pretending things were okay. I moved to a different city, got a new apartment, put my energy into work, hit the gym, focused on myself. And slowly, piece by piece, I came back to life. For the first time in years, my life belonged to me again. Now and then, I'd hear things, bits and pieces of what became of her. Apparently, she and her boss didn't last. Office gossip doesn't stay quiet for long. Turned out she wasn't the first woman he'd pursued, and she wouldn't be the last. The life she thought she was stepping up to, it didn't unfold the way she imagined, and when it all collapsed, when the illusion faded and the consequences set in, she came looking for the man she betrayed. But what she didn't understand, that man was gone. It had been a year, a full year of silence, a year of rebuilding, a year of finally moving forward. I hadn't thought about her in a long time, not the way I used to. She had become a memory, a sealed chapter in a book I no longer opened. Then one evening, as I stepped out of my apartment, there she was, standing on the sidewalk, unsure of herself, like even she wasn't convinced she should be there. For a moment, I thought I was seeing things, but then she spoke. "Hey, I've been trying to find you." I didn't say anything, just watched her shift nervously, her fingers clinging to her purse strap, as if it was the only thing keeping her grounded. She looked different, not because of time, but because of what guilt does to a person. The confidence she once wore like armor was gone. The smugness that came from believing she'd upgraded her life had vanished. What stood before me was someone who had finally come to terms with everything she threw away. "I just wanted to talk," she said quietly. "I know I don't deserve that, but I needed to see you." I leaned against the doorway, arms crossed, saying nothing, letting the silence sit heavy between us. Then she said it. "I made a mistake. I don't even know what I was thinking back then, but I know I ruined something good, and I live with that every single day." Her voice cracked. The words were fractured, maybe even sincere. But sincerity doesn't undo betrayal, and it didn't change the reason she was standing in front of me now. She wasn't here out of love. She was here because he wasn't. "Why now?" I asked, voice steady. "Because the life you picked didn't work out." She winced, turned her gaze to the ground, didn't even try to lie. I just realized too late what I had. I nodded, more to myself than to her. "Yeah, you did." There was a flicker in her eyes, like she wanted to reach out, like she thought there might still be something left between us. But that's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't just break trust. It kills what love remained. She had made her choice a long time ago, and so had I. "Take care of yourself, Emily," I said, stepping back inside. And just like that, I shut the door. I paused for a second, hand resting on the knob, listening to the silence that followed. No knock, no last-second plea, just the sound of footsteps retreating into the night. That was it. No big ending, no final fight, no one begging to stay. Just closure. Not the kind someone gives you, but the kind you find on your own. She didn't come back because she missed me. She came back because what she thought she had fell apart. And that's a truth people don't like to face. If her new life had worked, she never would have looked over her shoulder, never would have tried to find me, never would have stood at my door with regret in her eyes. But I wasn't going to be her second option. I wasn't a fallback plan, not the man you settle for when the one you wanted walks away. I walked over to the window and watched her disappear into the night, shoulders hunched, head down, dragging the weight of every choice she made. And for the first time in a very long while, I felt something unexpected. Peace. People rarely regret the cheating itself. They regret being caught, regret losing security, regret the consequences. But not the choice. Not in the moment. She didn't return because she missed me. She missed a version of herself that felt loved when she was with me. But that version didn't exist anymore. And that's why you never take them back. Because if things had gone her way, she never would have looked back, never would have knocked on my door. Some mistakes you can make right, others you carry with you forever. And as I close that door, really close it this time, I realize something powerful. The best revenge isn't anger. It's not success. It's showing them, without ever saying a word, that their absence didn't leave a mark on your life at all.